So we're never going to run out of marathons, but this is the final official major marathon, and
Hmm.
it's the final marathon of Shalane Flanagan's incredible journey, which is wild.
Yes.
And she's been quoted, I believe, saying she's going to save the best for last.
Yeah, she has. I was waiting for her to state her intentions for this last marathon because the previous set of marathons, the five, have gone as good as anybody could have expected. And then she posted last week about how she's dealing with the off time, you could say, which is kind of a weird phrase because it's only been a couple weeks. And the phrase, and a great picture, by the way, too, of her running that virtual marathon in the she ran the Tokyo Marathon virtually in Portland. But yeah, she said she's saving the best for last in New York City, which I interpret, Gordon, as she is going to go for it, which is what we had hoped for after about the second one. Once it was clear, hey, she's going to be able to do sub 3, at least after she did the Chicago Boston double. And we're thinking, man, if you can do that on no rest, what are you going to be able to do on a couple weeks rest when you don't have anything else after that to worry about? And I interpret that as she's going to go for it. Now I hope she starts with the elite field, but we don't know about that yet. Maybe we'll know by Friday.
Part of me feels like she shouldn't have. Like, was anyone asking for her to like run a Portland time trial marathon? Because I don't think anyone's like being like, "Hey, it was canceled, so you can cancel it off your list." Like, she, if she just ran
She was
Berlin,
loyal to
London,
it.
Chicago, Boston, New York, people were like, "Okay,"
Yeah.
but she's like, "Oh, I also did like my own marathon because technically there's another one that didn't happen. It doesn't happen until March." You know,
Yeah. Um I mean, I admire her commitment to the 6 marathons in 7 weeks, but or at the very least, she could have gone and run the 2:59 and saved a little bit more. What's interesting though in her response is just she's talking about how to not knowing how to recover, and it's something I've wondered about. Now, clearly, more rest is going to be better when you're running this many races on top of each other, but for someone who had a whole career where they had this big long buildup and then taper before these marathons to then go from that to all these happening in rapid succession, you don't really know how your legs are going to respond. I would think she would have been her best for the first one. And then this one, she'd start to get a little bit of her legs back underneath her, but she's done so well in the previous ones. I don't know. Does she get a bit stagnant in this off time in between the virtual one in Portland and New York City?
yeah, I don't know. It just
Like, do you
I'm
train?
just
Do you do another long run? Do you do
I feel
nothing?
like she's
Do you just sit in an
I mean,
ice bath for 2 weeks?
she's already done like, you know, 5 long runs like at marathon pace
Yeah. Right, right,
in
right.
a weird way, right?
Mhm.
Her 5 marathons are part of her basically her workout build up to New York City. It's like she's going to have the most unique New York City buildup of anyone ever in a field before, right? Most people
Yeah,
like, "Oh, how many times have you done a 22 miler or whatever?" She's like, "Well, I've run
yeah,
26 miles 5 times in the past, 6 weeks." So,
yeah.
at a hard
When we
pace.
don't know, it's hard to know how she's gonna react because 'cause we've never seen anybody do this at this high of level before. With this level of experience and excellence coming in, I'm sure there's the people who I run a marathon a week and they do it for charity, but this is a totally different ballgame when you're talking about Shalane Flanagan doing it. So we just have no clue how she's going to respond. New York is a tough course too, right? And you could say, depending on conditions, the most challenging of that group there, and it's going last. But I just feel like when she says I saved the best for last, I interpret that to mean she's going to put it all out there. And I mean, what's her fastest time so far of the group?
235.04. She has
2:35:04.
two
So
235s. Yeah.
so if she runs her fastest one last, I mean, going sub 2:35 in New York is going to be that'll be a strong performance. But I think looking at this, she can go under sub 2:30, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, maybe we should put the brakes on it a bit. Maybe I don't know, but yeah, I guess technically we could see a sub 230.
Mhm.
But you say I'm saving the best for last. I think we're reading pretty a little too deep into her Instagram uh, comments because her Instagram messages
No such
because
thing.
I think that's just a phrase people say. Oh, save the best for last. Last but not least. I don't think she's telling us like, hey guys, I'm going to break the American record in the marathon because it's my best for last. Like I think she
No,
just is. You know.
listen though, this is the same person who had an out to not run that sixth marathon because Tokyo got canceled, and she still did it. So maybe we should take her literally, and it's going to be the best of the group. I don't know if it's best in terms of time, best in terms of effort, place. I'm not sure. Again, it would just be fun to see her start with the elite field. That's all I want. And I would have no expectations after that because what she's done is without precedent.
Yeah. And then finish top two as finish top three as an American faster than what
Qualify
Sarah
for
Hall did, and all of a sudden she's running in Eugene. No, that's not
boom,
happening, but
world
that'll be
champs.
funny. World champs. That's marathon number
She's not.
7. World champs.
Take a break for about 8, 9 months.